But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I think, I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers, mostly. And you take a look at Australia. They're being inundated, and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless. It's valueless. And they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation. And if we had a real news or real press or media, we don't have that because they won't talk about this because they're all guys like that idiot. But if we had a real press, it would be exposed. And you know, the beauty of exposing it is it's like a cleansing action. When it gets exposed, it'll get fixed. That's when it'll get fixed. But people don't talk about it. And I'll tell you who's talking about the thousands of people that are fleeing South Africa right now.
We discussed USAID and the devastating impact the cuts are having across the African continent.
Yeah, well, it's devastating, and hopefully a lot of people are going to start spending a lot of money. And I've talked to other nations. We want them to chip in and spend money too. And we've spent a lot, and it's a tremendous problem going on in many countries. A lot of problems going on. The United States always gets the request for money. Nobody else helps, as you know. Europe doesn't help. Europe hasn't given anything. All they do is sue our companies. You know, they sue Apple, and they sue all of our companies. Apple had to pay $17 billion on a nonsense lawsuit. Very unfair. But we're going to always be there to help.
There is a problem here. There is a guy called Johan Rupert who controls South Africa, who controls Ramaphosa, Tito Mboweni, Trevor Manuel, Jamnandas Godhan. This guy, Rupert, says if we don't stop our nonsense, he's going to leave. I want to call upon South Africans. Let us speed up the process of accompanying Rupert to the airport, because we don't want Rupert in South Africa. That's what we've been saying about these fellows. They are not South Africans. That's why every moment they get, they say, we will leave. Leave to where, if you are South African? We, South Africans, whether the times are bad.
I had to wind all of those things properly. You will see I'm the biggest target of that rabble-rouser. Number one for over 10 years, Mr. Malema. In fact, the first time I met him, he was in the youth league with that gentleman. And look how he's changed.
Right.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers, it's across the board. And we need technological help. We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, US basics, the ridicule. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York would be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. Ernie's right now building a house in George. I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm outside Graaff-Reinet. I often go to bed without locking the door. And we have a serious problem with illegal aliens who stream across the border. And if you really look at our statistics, a lot of these murders, firstly it's unemployment and illegal aliens. And then I met Vice President Watts many years ago, the Charlie Rose show. My wife loved the book. And she reminded me this morning that you emphasized the devastation that occurs when big companies leave towns and cities, and there's a culture of dependency that develops. And I remember you discussing it. Now that's our problem. If we don't get our economy to grow, the culture of dependency and the lawlessness will increase. I've been against apartheid all my life, and I'm their number one target. Please just Google my name and Malema. You'll see it, sir. He marched on the farm.
But the crime is bad.
The crime is terrible, sir, but Mr. Steenhuisen won't admit to it, but he runs the Western Cape, where I live. And the biggest murder rate is in the Cape Flats. Gangs. We've got gang warfare. Like your M33, what are these guys? We've got equivalents there, but we need your help, sir. And we need Elon technology.
Well, one of the real areas of support is really in investments. We've got to grow our economy, because through growing the economy, we're then able to create more jobs. Because crime really...
There are no Afrikaners who have been killed here in South Africa. It's not true. And there are no 49 Afrikaners who left South Africa. You all know that. It's a fiction. It's drama. You know, America with drama is number one. That thing is Muvhango. I don't know what is Muvhango in Afrikaans. It's just a drama. I believe they landed and then they waited for cameras, took them pictures. The next flight back to South Africa. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There's no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa, anywhere else. Even if you live here as a millionaire and you go to USA, your money gets reduced to nothing. So no American or Afrikaner will leave South Africa for America. It's not true. Our country, there's no killing of white people. We're not killing white people. We're demanding our land. We're saying, let's share this land. Let's all work the land. And if that is a crime, it's a crime we're prepared to commit. Because we can't, when we're asking for food, and say, no, you're committing crime by asking. We're having a robust debate on land in South Africa. And that must never be used to silence us by...
Plaasmoeder is Afrikaans for farm murders. On a hillside in Limpopo province, a private landowner has planted more than 2,000 crosses. Each one represents an individual murdered in a farm attack since 1994. 75 more crosses were added last year, but that figure is controversial.
This is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers.
What would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's, for him, no, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be,
Our president will respond to you.
yeah, let me,
Thank you, Mr. President.
it will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on around the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it will take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
We have, let me see the articles, please, if you would, and turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yeah. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. So whatever we want to do, we can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Yes, honorable member. So never be scared to kill. And revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. No, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, 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 pa. To kill the master. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
The mayor of D-Day in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Sodi will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. You are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill the master. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill the master. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa.
I also was in the future. I'm saying to you, was not for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but you don't understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter. They freak out. It sounds like a genocide on Twitter.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites, over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road you have crosses. Those people are all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa, that's where.
We need to find out. I don't know. Huh? I don't know. Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know,
the Pentagon.
You gotta get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions for me. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible
reporter. If they're committing genocide, why invite them to the White House? I'll be quiet. Sure, that's my question now.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Annika Larson from ENCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation?
I don't know.
Seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. death, horrible death, death. I don't know.
But you know that
To
there
pick
are young
anyone,
people who are
white
dying
South
of-
Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws, and this is all. I mean, I'll give these to you.
No, I'd like
So
to-
when you say what would I like to do, I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently. And,
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried.
President Trump-
And he asks about a jet that was given.
First
You
of all,
ought to be
I-
ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter.
If they're committing genocide, why invite them? So if they are committing genocide, why invite the South Africans? Go right out.
May I finish, please, President Trump? Mr. President
This
Trump,
is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can you get a response from President Ramaphosa? Can you give us your reaction to those videos, Mr. President?
President
That's
Trump,
not one
could you-
reaction.
Well, I think the videos are still.
more than white
No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what it is. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it.
We're going to.
But this is a tremendous look. This is a story recent.
Yeah.
These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are,
President Trump,
and you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
But
and
let me
it was
clarify that.
terrible. Yeah.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
And then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is quite...
Nothing happens to
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The farmers are
utilizing...
black. The farmers are not black.
We have
I don't
now-
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off, they died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't
we
know
will
we'd get
talk about
involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out, because we need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One, it's being built, 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I'd take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
and
problems.
this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all recent. Those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges. So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course, outside of the media. So
and the problem in South Africa, it is not necessarily about race, but it is about crime. And we think that we are here to say, how do we, both nations, work together to reset, to really talk about investment, but also help us in how we can have the technology and everything that is needed, President, to really address the levels of crime.
This week, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa met with the USA President Donald Trump at the White House, and things got heated. The meeting was supposed to be about building better relations between two countries, but instead it turned into a serious argument. Donald Trump claimed that white South African farmers are being targeted and killed, something that we know that is not true. Donald Trump also showed photos of people from Congo and claimed that they are from South Africa. He also said Julius Malema should be arrested. Donald Trump also criticized South Africa's foreign policy, especially its support for the Palestine and its link to Iran. Ramaphosa did not hold back. He told Donald Trump that crime in South Africa affects everyone and most victims are black, not white. He said the government is not taking land unfairly or attacking white people. To prove his point, President Cyril Ramaphosa brought famous white South Africans with him, the likes of Johan Rupert, to show that white people are successful in his country. Many South Africans are praising Cyril Ramaphosa for staying calm and defending the truth, but others are asking, should he have even met with Donald Trump in the first place? The response from Julius Malema: a group of older men met in Washington to gossip about me. No significant amount of intelligence evidence has been produced about white genocide. We will not agree to compromise our political principles on land expropriation without compensation for political expenditure. Floyd Shibambo's response is colonial clerks are explaining themselves to colonial masters who have decided to misunderstand them. I liked this response. I agree in part, but now in Jane, you were from Prophet Bushiri to explain yourself. Boyzeni Ndlozi, what happened in that room is the greatest assault of Africa's dignity and liberation legacy. They literally handed over our country. What a shameful state of affairs. Any proud African watching that drama must have felt the shame deep in their heart. This is the EFF statement on the joint press briefing by Cyril Ramaphosa and Donald Trump regarding conditions in South Africa and CIC Julius Malema. It was dated on Wednesday, the 21st of May 2025. The Economic Freedom Fighters has taken note of the press briefing held jointly by the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the President of United States of America, USA, Donald Trump. The meeting, which came under pretext of discussing diplomatic, trade, and economic relations, ended up being a discussion about President and Commander-in-Chief EFF Julius Malema and his correct and principled position regarding the return of the land to African people and the return of the means of production into the hands of African majority. In what comes as no surprise, Cyril Ramaphosa and his delegation, which has constituted by the likes of Stellenbosch racist billionaire Johan Rupert and Donald Trump's golfing buddy Annie Els and Minister of Agriculture and the leader of racist Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen, was an interaction dominated by white privileged men who have amassed wealth at the expense of African people, who spend a majority of time expressing their hatred of EFF and its leader Julius Malema. Trump proceeds to play numerous clips of the president of EFF within our leader spoke correctly about the unequal distribution of land in South Africa and sang the child K-I-L-L the Boer, K-I-L the farmer, which is a song that expresses the desire to destroy the system of white minority control over the resources of South Africa. This liberation chant was considered as part of African heritage by the Equity Court. Till I see you again, Mzansi. Bye-bye.